This is not a tax.
Okay. Why
it is your money.
Okay. Why then, Mr. President, if it's not a tax, if that bill hypothetically say is passed by the National Assembly, it's legally binding?
Yeah, of course.
It's not a tax, you said.
It is not a tax.
Yes. I worked hard for my money.
Yes.
You said it's not tax. But there is a bill in Parliament. If it's passed, it's legally binding. Why would I make a contribution for others to succeed? It's your business as the government. You are the head of state. You have the responsibility. You have the mandate.
That's why the Constitution gives me the power to tax.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the analysis of YOLENO TV. I hope you're well from wherever you watch this channel. Now, it is evident that the government hoodwinked Kenyans when they were campaigning for this housing fund. I want to take you back to an interview where Abdikadir took William Ruto through a series of questions regarding the true status of the housing fund, whether it was a levy, tax, or just a savings account, just a savings scheme.
Simple issue.
Yes.
You are saying it's not a tax.
It is not a tax.
That's the commander-in-chief saying
yes,
that.
It is not a tax.
Hang on, let's go a step.
Forget about what they're talking about. It's a tax. Nyinyi hamuelewi hii maneno. The minute you put your money in the housing fund, the employer contributes for you another 1,000. The rules of this CAMA of ours, this national circle.
But I remember back then what William Ruto said in that interview. He said, and he kept on emphasizing that it was not a tax, it was not a levy. The only funny thing is that what we experienced yesterday was a government shortchanging Kenyans. All along, the narrative they have been pushing is that it is a savings account. But yesterday, it was evident that it is a tax. So the question that most Kenyans are asking themselves right now, ladies and gentlemen, is, will the government refund what has been taxed? I mean, let's just be honest here, ladies and gentlemen. But before I get you up to speed with the narrative that was peddled yesterday on this housing fund and how the presentation was done, I want to remind you that Kuria, who is in charge of that finance committee, should change those people who attended the public participation. People aired out their views, but then it is alleged that these views were not anchored in that finance bill. So the question again comes here is, why was it necessary to conduct the public participation? I said this issue in this channel. I talked about it in this channel. I said that was just a way of buying time. The government was simply buying time, trying to hoodwink Kenyans again. So this narrative of housing fund, Kenyans were right that it was just a tax. Tax is not refundable. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what we get from this. According to the Kenya Constitution, tax is non-refundable. So William Ruto played Kenyans. That is the reality. He played Kenyans just like he does. He always told Kenyans that this was not going to be a tax. But what has happened? It has been put as a tax. And again, that means you will be paying for something that you will not benefit from. If it is a tax, it is deducted from you. So the narrative of the 7 years that you can withdraw it after 7 years if you decide to decline, that you won't take up that house that has been allocated to you, that narrative is fading away. In fact, that narrative was a total lie. It was said by the PS of housing, that is PS Hinga, that you would be able to withdraw your savings, not tax, your savings at the end of 7 years. That is, if you decided to decline to take up that house.
Good people, you all pay taxes today because you are employed. So you're paying payroll tax. I pay payroll tax. I don't know how many of you have been to Moyale here. But do you know we have a road that goes all the way to Moyale? That road was built using your taxes. but you have no direct benefit from that money because you may never ever go to Moyale. That is what tax is. But what is a saving? What is this housing fund contribution? Housing fund conveys to you or confers you a direct right. It's a direct right to you. Why? Because you will either get an affordable unit, which is highly subsidized, or after 7 years, if you don't want it, we give you back your money plus your return. And now, as I wind up, you are all employed here. So, if I left, let's assume all of us here average, we're going to pay 1,000 shillings. If you're paying 1,000 shillings, and you took that 1,000 shillings and you put it in a fixed deposit in a bank today, how much return do you think you're going to get? 70 shillings after 1 year. 7%. That's how much you're going to get. But by taking that 1,000 shillings and putting it in the housing fund, what are you getting?
It was also said that the calculations which were done, because many people are estimating 1.5 million, they were saying that if you are deducted 3% for a span of, let's say, 60 years, then you will be eligible for that house. So if it is 1.5%, then how long does it take? Does it mean that it's going to take 100 years? Now, that is what is causing a lot of challenge. Then who are going to benefit from this scheme? I don't know, but this scheme to me will just be like the Hustlers Fund that failed. You know, the Hustlers Fund failed. That is a reality, ladies and gentlemen. So I don't know, but going forward, Raila has maintained that there will be numerous, endless street protests. The street protests which will be seen going forward against the finance bill will be unimaginable. That is what Raila Odinga said. But I agree with him, because if initially the questions that many people asked were how this housing fund is going to operate, and then you are told at the end of the day that it's not going to be a savings fund, but it's not going to be a savings scheme, but it's going to be a tax. And you know by default that a tax is not refundable. That is according to the Kenyan Constitution. So does it mean that William Ruto and the team were lying to Kenyans? Is that the case? Then how is it going to be a mortgage if you are taxed? Or is it that for hustlers or for Kenyans to acquire these homes that shall have been built, you will be required to maybe foot 1.5 million? Is that the case? I don't know. I just find something mysterious in this narrative of the housing scheme. Maybe people will be required to pay a certain fee for them to access this fund, for them to access this home. I'm just trying to imagine. I told a friend of mine some times back when he tried to support this scheme, I told him, look here, you are not on any payroll, okay, but your kids will be on a payroll. And should your kids be on a payroll, that means they will pay for this tax. What does it mean? It means that you supported the scheme, which is because you say that you're not on a payroll, but then when your kids are on a payroll, they will be crying, saying that this is not a good plan for the country. But then it will find them, kama tayari inaendelea. So they will be charged the same amount. Who knows? Maybe it will jump from 1.5 to 3%, to 4%, to 10%, to even 20%. What will stop the government from doing that? Because right now, they have proposed a tax, not a savings scheme. So that means they should change Kenyans. What if they are just trying to convince people to support it, then they will change it again in parliament just like they did? And what is the Supreme Court doing about it? Dear viewers, I have thousands of questions about this issue without answers. But it's now coming out clear that the government was all along lying to Kenyans that it was a savings scheme, whereas it was a tax. So dear viewers, kindly tell us below the comment section what to think about this. And once again, I'd like to urge you to stay safe, stay blessed until we catch up again in our next analysis.